Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is your favorite Sex Anonymous coach and author, Ratima. And today we are discussing how to make sure your money is always compounding. If it's two things I know you don't play about is your man and your money, ladies. But real quick, we talked about this in the last video. If you didn't see that, make sure you go back. But how many of you can admit you are low-key boy crazy? Let me see the hands. Because you know we will do some strange things for that main thing. But how do you compound that thing while keeping the main thing the main thing? And we're talking about your interest, remember? Because like the old saying goes, ain't no thing but a chicken wing. But what happens when it's over? I mean, where does all of that relationship go? When we've eaten all the meat off the bone, we just naturally throw it away normally, right? But how about instead of letting the whole relationship go to waste, how about we do some waste management? You know, like the big company waste management. You see that? We already talking money and we ain't even 2 minutes into the video. So you know it's about to be good. Now that we've gotten the emotions out the way, because Lord knows we can get very emotional when it comes to them. And enough talk about that. Let's talk about some logic. Let's just be logical about this. By show of hands again, how many of y'all agree with this statement? Logically speaking, if I allow you, my man or my money, to occupy my space, my time, and my energy, you owe me some head. And not just any kind, because it ain't all good, but we need that kind that's going to give us a real good mind fuck. Excuse my French for those who don't use profanity, but I do. I'm just saying, I have to get some kind of aha, I didn't think about that in that way. That just made my mental appetite wet. Because you've probably never thought about it in this way. And that's okay. That's what I'm here for. But have you ever realized, like, the more you grow, the more I grow, and vice versa. We just exchange information, which is why you're here today with me. Because I know something you don't know. And you're curious enough to come get some. So, welcome. Now, in the last video, hopefully you took notes. Because we learned how to get a phat financial W.A.P. You know, a wealth asset portfolio in order to make that pullout game weak. Weak as in don't touch my assets unless you're ready to pay those good old capital gains taxes, which I know you won't, once you see how much I've made. I mean, who is volunteering to pay that? So I need you to back up, player. Speaking of pullout games, though, because we know a couple, I want to make a distinction between the two we should all be familiar with. One, I like to call the pullout savings game, which is what majority of us play. Whereas we just putting in our money in the bank and taking it out once it reaches a substantial savings amount. But just like with your man, you don't get much pleasure from doing that. I mean, you just don't. If he wants to keep putting it in and taking it out, your interest, of course, for him and with him will never compound and grow. And neither will your money in that account if you just keep doing it. So here you are now at 40, because this is typically what happens, 40 something, and you're still at square one because you only been letting your money go in and out, never gaining momentum to shoot up the charts. The second way is, of course, the long-term play. That only works if you keep your money in it to win it. And, you know, go for the long haul, not just a quick fix or a quickie. Nobody likes quickies unless it's, you know. So how do you compound that thing while keeping the main thing the main thing? That's what we're talking about today. We briefly talked about it before, but through the magic of compounding. So since I know this is not the magic stick you thought we were talking about today, because everybody wants to talk about your financial W.A.P, or a phat financial W.A.P, I'll at least promise this. This will be much more satisfying, especially if you look at it like a layered cake, layered financial cake. looking down from the top, each layer builds on one another, right? Which means your financial foundation has to be strong enough to hold all of the weight the other layers bring. You feel me? You got me? Layer. Racks on racks on racks. So that's what we're working towards today. Building a financial cake that the infamous Albert Einstein co-signed as a sure way to get your finances to the top. Just like your cherry, we're here to pop. Now, before that though, in the words of DJ Khaled, I'm going to give you 2 major keys to get a few doubles on your money in order to win this wealth game and build your financial cake. You ready? Cake, 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 cake. Because it's going to take, number 1, discipline. Number 2, consistency. Discipline to keep the main thing, meaning focused. Keep that money in there. And consistency to not keep pulling out when you're about to reach your money spot. Just to keep it a buck. I mean, these are the main 2 things I struggled with the most. But hey, that's a part of breaking tradition and opening those walls we call habits. Okay? We all have bad habits. Sometimes you gotta break them up, open them up, break them things. You know what I'm saying? So, with everything we'll discuss today, just know I was in the exact same shoes a few months ago. Okay, maybe not yours if you wear a size, 9 plus, because I'm 8, but you get it. So, back in the day, Albert said, the most powerful force in the universe is compound interest. Yep, that's what he said. Now, why would a famous genius say something like that? Clearly, he knew about a different kind of force, and we've all been under a rock. So I'll assume you're probably already familiar with the basic concept of earning interest, right? You've heard that concept before. You put $1,000 in the bank, and the bank pays you a little bit of interest in return. A little bit. Typically, about 0.0001%. But for the sake of this example, we'll say they're giving you about 2% per year. All right? So at the end of the year, you've earned $20. Not bad for a first comer, but I've got something that'll really make you mad. Compound interest, referring to, again, earning interest on top of interest that's already been earned. Sort of like when your man brings you flowers and candy, he's earned your interest on top of feeding your sweet tooth. So interest on top of interest. Then the next time, he might even bring you flowers, candy, and a bottle of wine. So he really trying to get in the bag. But you see how he's been trying to compound your interest with all of those gifts? We love gifts, right, ladies? But it's the same with the banks. As long as they keep holding your money in the bank, you'll continue to earn interest. It's just small. And not only on the original 1,000 that you had, but also on the 20 that you earned. So that means the amount of interest that you earn next year will increase. A little bit. Not a lot of bit. But in the second year, for example, you'll earn $20.40. There's a caveat though. Of course, there's a caveat. There's always a trick. I mentioned it before, but I need to reiterate it for those who didn't feel me the first time I came around. So, you get the biggest bang for your buck when it's kept in for the long haul, not just for the quick fix. Compounding is better for the long-term play. Not like Drake, who's only there for a good time, not a long time. You know why? Because he's already figured this out. And if not, he got somebody to do that for him. But he has his money working for him while he keeps his main thing, the main thing, rapping and doing his thing. Got it? Good. Now, let's move on. So, Albert, AE for short, came up with this rule called the Rule of 72. Have you heard of it before? Have you heard of this rule? Yes, for all of my alpha females out there, yes, there are rules to this, and I know you hate rules, but these can't be broken. Sorry. I hate rules too. It's okay. These can't be broken off. And you'll actually probably prefer it that way because it works better in your favor and gets you to the money back faster. Hear me out now. So if you invest money, obviously you want it to grow, right? Yes. But this is how money grows. Make sure you write this in your notes. I'm not going to repeat this. I probably will, but probably not today. Remember, just relax and take notes. I got it. So one key to winning the money game is to get as many doubles on your money as possible. So how the formula goes is you take the number 72 divided by the interest rate. Let's use 8 for this example because that's my favorite number. And that will give you how many years it'll take for your money to double. So every 9 years, using the interest rate of 8, your money will double. That's pretty reasonable, especially since every now and then, your money in the bank is only at about -1%. So at 9%, you over here working with a monster. Now, speaking of monsters, here's what a compound interest curve should look like. Curve. Similar to the curve that you're used to riding, it goes from linear growth to exponential growth. Basically, flat for a while, then it gets steeper and steeper before it starts to shoot up the place, up the charts. No shade against the banks though, because rates haven't always been so low. You better say no. They that low. That -1 is not cute. But in the early 1980s, your money in the bank could have actually earned almost 20% a year. But guess who's getting that dub now? Yeah, I'll wait. The credit card companies. Yep, they got me when I ain't know better for 24% on just one of my cards. Can you say goddamn? Goddamn. But on average, they get about 18%. We'll see how much they make. That makes them in a second. So based off of this formula, do you think you are winning the money game or not? I mean, the goal of this is really just to show you how much, with the right percentage rate, your money can double in half of the time. It would have taken you to smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no. So why wait 30 minutes or 30 years in a lot of cases for something that you can take into your own hands and get off in about 15, 20 tops? Just saying, sometimes you just got to take matters into your own hands to make it work for you. So let's say I was still 29 years old with 10K in the bank at an interest rate of 1%, which is what your bank is most likely not giving you. But let's just go with it. My money won't double for 72 years. Oh my God. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'll be 101 by the time I reach 20K. Sheesh. Now, you can see what a small interest can do for the curve you've been expecting. Not much. Same in relationships. Whether that's in the form of money or romance, the less you keep someone's interest, the less curve or Captain Hook you'll get. I mean, I'm just saying, can you wait 72 years to see 20K? Or get that curve from Captain Hook? Some of you can't even wait 7 minutes to get through this video, let alone 72 years. I'm just saying, I know you were thinking it. But what's not obvious in this is where the danger is. This is why debt is so detrimental. Why budgeting is so important. Why setting money aside is so crucial. Because you only have so many doubles between your age now and when you pass away or retire to get as many compound hits as you can. Think about it. I mean, really, think about it. Now, to be honest, did that thought just make you wet or make you sweat a little bit? I mean, I think we can both clearly agree that's not going to work. So let's just try 4%, just for the sake of it. All right, we're looking at a little bit better, but not by much. 72 divided by 4 is only 18. So I would be at 40K by retirement age of 65. But that ain't enough either. I mean, how many of you can say you'd be living comfortable with 40K total in retirement? We can barely live off of that now. But speaking of 18, let's see what 18% will give the banks. Remember I mentioned before that was about the average interest rate that the banks get on credit cards? Basing it, of course, off of most average middle Americans who have slightly okay credit. I mean, pay back on their credit cards. So let's take the same 10K, multiply by 18% because that's how much they'd earn. And that, typically, I'd have to pay back if I max out my card. They make an additional $1,800 on top of the 10K, doubling every 4 years if I continue to max out my card. But that's why I teach my clients and mentees how not to get caught out there paying interest. We'll talk more on that later. But if I had, let's just say about 10% working in my favor, right? In my high interest savings account. That 10% got my retirement looking sweet. I mean, sweet. A little over $250,000. I mean, 320K to be exact. Or shoot, we over here at $500,000 with 640K at age 72. If we're really shooting for the winning shot at getting that cake, that financial cake. So I've got to ask again, with a higher interest rate than what you've currently being offered at the bank, are you winning the game of money and getting to that cake or not? I mean, just so you know, I'm going to keep asking this because I don't want you to leave here talking about my team ain't tell me what to do, how to get that financial cake popping, how to get that financial WAP popping and dripping wet. All right? But remember, in order for this concept to work for you, you've got to make it a habit to keep it in and working. I mean, you've practiced this in other scenarios, I know. So it shouldn't be that hard to get it and keep this one up. The reason why I'm drilling this notion is because naturally, I mean, when you start to see something grow, whether that's a plant in your garden or a vegetable in your garden rather, or a plant in your front yard or a baby, it's our nature to want to hurry it along. No shade, but if you aren't that deep of an investor yet, you're not that deep of an investor yet to be taking profits off the top. So would you rather have 1% from the bank or at least 10% over here with Albert? At least, minimum. But do you see how this rule is either working for you or can work against you and your coins? Because with the credit cards getting 18%, I would say they're definitely winning the game. Scoring all the extra points and coming home with the ring. Not the one on this finger. I mean, I guess you could keep it on this finger, but not really. But how many of y'all trying to be like them? Forget Mike. Okay? Let me get the CCs for 200, Alex. That's Alex from Jeopardy, everyone. Just in case you were wondering. So now you know one of the major keys is to get doubles on your money. That's what compound interest does. Let everyone know, you know, you got the home court advantage. This is what we doing. We getting doubles over here. We ain't double dribbling over here. We getting doubles. Double digits. You feel me? Now, I hope this was as informative as well as entertaining and valuable, of course, for you. And I look forward to helping you start to see your money as the sexy tool that it is and could be. Remember, there are plenty more gems like this, what you got today, on my social media page at Miss MS period Mindset. Stay wet. Wet as in W-H-E-T, spelled W-H-E-T, all one word. I give lots of game and quick tips on how and why to compound your interest and get more bang for your buck. Until next time, I wish you nothing but peace and profits. Bye.